Hi lads and lasses, Modest Pelican here with Hitman 3. If you enjoyed this video, please go to a bar and order random women cups of water instead of alcoholic drinks, and then have the waiter say it's from Modest Pelican, as this really helps spread the good word of my channel. Today we'll be travelling to a wealthy estate in England to eliminate our target, Alexa Carlisle. I'll be wearing a pair of timeless speed dealer sunglasses and a wife beater so I can seamlessly blend into my posh English surroundings. He doesn't actually beat wives though, don't worry, just children. To match my drip, I'm bringing in a scuffed pistol with a paint can as a silencer, a combat knife and some zannies. We couldn't be more ready to Meghan Markle these upper class malakas. There's lots of security on site and I overhear a detective saying he's here to solve a murder mystery. Not ideal, but potentially an opportunity to take over the investigation. I crouch walk through a creek, completely soaking my shoes and socks. I should have worn Crocs. As great as Agent 47 looks right now, he's not actually allowed on the premises, so I throw my knife into a bush and lure over a gardener. I non-lethally pacify the big girl, and have you ever noticed that Hitman games are just glorified dress-up simulators? I grab a pair of shears to help sell the disguise, and 47 proceeds to hold them exactly like someone who's about to commit first-degree murder and not tend the garden. The estate is quite impressive and also inspiring for the common man. Anyone can live like this so long as they work hard, get a good education, are born into a family with immense generational wealth, and wake up early. The disguise is working a treat and gives me access to the entire grounds, just not inside the mansion. Now I've just got to locate Alexa and come up with a plan. There's also a secondary objective to retrieve a case file, as the only thing more fun than a second target is recovering important paperwork. It looks like the Carlisles are planning some sort of family photo. If I can become the photographer, there could definitely be an opportunity here. Plus, who wouldn't want to take photos of Alexa? She's a little baddie. They can't start the photo shoot though, as they're missing a fuse cell. I decide to do some actual gardening to maximize my immersion. Agent 47 proceeds to move one leaf at a time, putting about as much effort into this as P-Hub puts into their plot lines. I was watching one the other day where the stepmom was washing the clothes, but she didn't even separate the whites from the darks, and it really took me out of the moment. Anyway, it's time to get serious and make some moves. I find a rake on the lawn and place it facing upwards right where one of the guards is patrolling. I am not mad that they put this feature into the game. I am, however, mad about the distinct lack of booties. I know I've beaten this drum a few times now, but where is the thickness in this game? Do you know how many booties Hitman 1 and 2 had? Back then it was so easy to create fun, educational thumbnails that the whole family could enjoy together. It's getting tough, but I'll keep striving to deliver the dump truck thumbnails you all deserve. Like the video if you love booties. I managed to climb a pipe and infiltrate the mansion through a bathroom window. I want to explore, but will have to be stealthy. I throw my combat knife to distract the guard and maid, who are having a red-hot steamy conversation about what I can only assume is the Book of Corinthians. In particular, Parable 1 through 16, thou shalt not tap that ass until thou betrothed in marriage. I proceed to get caught almost immediately. Professional assassin, by the way. I'm escorted from the premises, which sucks, but the courtyard he takes me to has a surprise. A fuse cell which should fix the camera for the family photo. I also spot an area of the estate I haven't seen yet, so I decide to check it out. This place has a really warm, welcoming ambience about it. They seem to be planning a fake funeral for Alexa Carlisle, which is just classic rich person behavior. The funeral host doesn't want to show Alexa the setup until the crows fly away. I think a funeral host is officially called, much like a wedding ceremony, a celebrant. As good of a job as this guy is doing at removing the crows, I decide to take matters into my own hands. I proceed to shoot down several birds' nests like a boss. Butchering baby birds would be so sad if they were pelicans. At least the fake funeral can now go ahead. I'm just paying it forward, trying to get that positive karma, I guess. Alexa arrives to inspect the setup, and I'm going to straight up murder that booty. My mum actually asked why I talk about virtual women's buttocks the whole time, and it was pretty awkward. I just said I'd do it for the vine, and then we sat in silence for a couple of minutes. Eventually she left. The meme started so long ago, but now my family watch my content and I have to deal with the consequences of what I say. I decide it's time to take over the murder investigation, and so I choke out the detective and steal his clothes. Pretty risky in broad daylight, but I'm getting an itchy trigger finger, so I half hoped I'd have to eliminate a witness. I now have complete access to the mansion, and the place is nice, but they need to get some LEDs up in here. I feel like I'm at a seedy small town strip club, or at least I assume those places would be poorly lit. Love you, mum. The Carlyles are having a family meeting about the fake funeral and also the murder of Alexa's eldest son, Zachary. The butler shows me to the crime scene, and the big girl's definitely dead. I sit down and stare at his corpse for a while, which is weird, and then take several photos, applying a tasteful late sunset filter which really accentuates his gaping, deranged mouth. I'm also pretty sure he had a drinking problem. What a lad. Some of the family thinks he took his own life, and some think it was foul play, which is why the detective was here in the first place. It's time to solve a murder mystery, lads and lasses. Pretty unprofessional temporarily abandoning our primary objective of being an assassin, not to mention hypocritical, but here we are. It's time to question the whole family and figure out who's the troublemaker. I start talking to Gregory, the eldest son, and he hits me with something rather hurtful.
Not very thorough, are you?
This dodgy Malacca has the audacity to call out my competence as a detective. I decide to add him as an additional primary target, as nobody belittles me while I'm at work. I continue speaking with all the different kids, and honestly, if Zachary did indeed kill himself, I'm starting to see why. We've got Beta Ron Weasley, this, and what I can only assume is a neo-Nazi. They all tell me where they were last night, and by sneaking into their bedrooms, I'm able to surprisingly confirm that they're all telling the truth. While searching one room, I find some sort of secret passageway. It's all very sus, and then I spy through a peephole and see a man who looks just like me. There's only room for one handsome Caucasian bald man on this estate, and so I proceed to do what I have to do. Honestly, I really just felt like killing someone as it had been so long. I just hope they weren't too crucial to the whole murder mystery story. I hide the bodies in the passageway, and let's all just move on quickly. You see, there's one suspect that I haven't seen yet. Emma, the wife of the guy who hurt my feelings earlier when he said I wasn't a thorough detective. I find where they're staying, and the real crime here is how they managed to score the biggest bedroom in the house. This patio offers 270-degree views, allowing them to maximize al fresco living. It looks like they didn't finish breakfast either, which means they must have low energy, as it's arguably the most important meal of the day. The word breakfast wasn't used until the 1400s, and it literally means breaking the overnight fast. Okay, that was an obvious one, but I'm just trying to make sure I stay educational. I gather some more evidence to help build a case against Emma, but I need to actually find and interrogate her. Look, I'll waterboard the gal if that's what it takes to get a confession. There's really only one area of the map I haven't explored yet, and that is a greenhouse out the back. There's one security guard standing watch, so I slip a few Xannies into his water, which is ethically questionable as staying hydrated is the backbone of my career, but it is what it is. I somewhat hide his body, but then notice someone's in the greenhouse. It's Emma, and she's looking more suspicious than a clear browser history. I confront her, and the story she tells me is paper thin. She clearly murdered Zachary and is after the inheritance. She's also standing right next to a poisonous flower and lab equipment. Simply looking at her tells the whole story, so I rush back to report my findings. The butler arranges a private meeting in Alexa's office, and this woman's security detail is way bigger than Harry and Meghan's sons, because she actually has one. These royal family jokes aren't going to age very well, kind of like Prince Philip. This man is 23 years old. I tell Alexa that Emma is the killer and she's happy with my work. I get to pick my reward, choosing either cash or the case file I need to retrieve, and naturally I take that paper. Hustlers never sleep. It's relatively simple to steal the case file anyway. I activate a secret button, and then to get the safe code I have to match the numbers to their corresponding picture. It's kind of like Blue's Clues except with way more sex appeal because I'm wearing a fedora. Case file retrieved, let's go kill Alexa and that cyberbully Gregory. I head down to the fountain where the photo shoot is happening and grab a screwdriver and a wrench. Whoever left these tools out is pretty irresponsible as rain is imminent and they'll rust. I head back to the greenhouse and repair the chemistry set. I'm then able to turn the plant into a glass bottle of lethal poison. It even has a detailed label on it. Science. I then poison the photographer's water. A little extreme killing the big dog, but that should be the only collateral damage in an otherwise watertight plan. I then unscrew a valve allowing water to gush from the fountain all over the maid's shoes. I can relate to her struggle more than she knows. Honestly impressed at how unbothered she is by this. The photographer then dies, sorry champ. I dump his body into a crate and steal his clothes. The key to being a good photographer is to dress like a 14-year-old drama student, smoke heavily, and physically assault every female you work with. I place the fuse cell and then take a test photo of the maid. Even though I'm about to elaborately murder arguably the hottest NPC in gaming history, this is a great shot, my guy had talent. The maid goes to fetch the family members while I expose a few of the wires in the puddle that has formed. The family slowly assembles like they were the Avengers, but rather than saving the world, they just buy cheeses other than cheddar and smell their own farts. Alexa gives another speech to the kids, and I get a little jealous. All I wanted in life was to be a trust fund baby and live in a sketchy medieval manor, but no, I had to be born into a loving middle-class family. Alexa walks down and looks at the exposed wires in the puddle of water and actually says out loud, "Hey, maybe this isn't safe," but then full sends it anyway, which I quite frankly respect. The family line up and I take my position. Kind of sadistic that I'm frying this woman alive in front of her children, but in the words of David Attenborough, sometimes you've got to fry a hoe in front of her children so you can get that glizzy dough. As I'm leaving the crime scene, I run into Gregory. I proceed to show him that I am in fact a thorough detective. I get away with it too because everyone's panicked about the electrocution and I calmly sneak away, but get this. Apparently I disconnected from the servers during my playthrough, so I didn't get a mission rating. I escape and then do exactly what I have to do. Restart the mission wearing a tactical red skivvy armed with a fully automatic weapon and kill every single person. I do mean every single individual here. Maids, gardeners, guards, the entire family. I'd rather get a 0-star rating than no rating. If you enjoyed this video, hit like. I love you guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, and as always, stay classy.